I'm going to do a review of the difference, my opinion now, strictly my opinion, between the Ridgid toolbox that you see on your left, it's a 22-inch, and the Craftsman 26-inch toolbox that you see on your right. I just happened to see the Craftsman toolbox that when I was at Lowe's, and I normally use Ridgid toolboxes, so I thought, well, let me pick one up and see how it compares to the Ridgid toolbox. So here's the difference between the two that I could find, and this is stuff that I found on the internet. The Ridgid 22-inch Pro toolbox, there's the model number, $39. The Craftsman 26-inch Pro toolbox, model number is $34.98. The sizes that I show in the Ridgid and in the Craftsman were gotten off the internet. Those sizes are given. Those weren't measured by me. The toolbox material from the Ridgid is stated as high impact resin. The toolbox material that I could find on the internet says plastic. What kind? I do not know. IP rating of the Ridgid, I could not find out. Now the Craftsman does state that it is IP 54 rated. So I thought it might be interesting to do just a side-by-side like this, where you can see half of each toolbox. And first I think we'll just look at the handles. If we take a look at the Ridgid handle, and it kind of locks in place when you set it there. It's nice and comfortable. And then we have the Craftsman, which is a full-length handle. This is a full-length handle. And it locks into place at the top. Aluminum with the plastic. Next, let's look at the latches. On the Ridgid, really nice latches, nice and positive, no effort to take it apart. It does have a spot there that if you want to lock it, you could. Now we'll take a look at the Craftsman. The Craftsman, and again, this is my opinion, a bit tinny. I guess I used the word tinny, but kind of hard to close. Now these are both brand new boxes. I have several of these that I keep on hand, so when I have a project, the Ridgid. So this is a brand new box, never used, so it shouldn't have any wear on it, as is this Craftsman, which by the way I will be returning. But again, in my opinion, not the same amount of finesse. So now with the lids open, you'll see what comes with them. With the Ridgid, you get this little tool tray. I have to this point never used them. When it comes to using the box, I'm generally putting bigger things in there, and I generally throw those out. But that does come with the toolbox should you want that. The Craftsman comes with this interesting, and I'll show you here as I close it and then open it. It sticks like that, but it comes with this where you can put screws and stuff in here, and they do have where you can see through them here with the bigger ones. So it comes with that, and then no other tray. So each one is equipped as you see right here, stock. So now I'll just pan across the open boxes so you can kind of see some of the differences. We'll take a close-up look at these latches. This is the Ridgid. Then this is the Craftsman. Let's take a look at the area that has the seal. Now this is some type of I don't know the material. Feels like some type of a rubber or silicone material. I can't say. Okay. And if we look at the Craftsman, it is actually what I would call like a foam. It is not a type of seal that I would be. It's like a foam. So I don't know. Supposedly they do give it a rating, but again, in my opinion, I'd rather see a seal like this than I would like this. The Ridgid on your left, the Craftsman is on your right. Those are the two seals in the lid. Next, let's look at the hinge detail. We're looking at the Ridgid right now. This is with the lid open. We're looking from the inside of the box. And now we're going to go to the hinge on the Craftsman. And it's continuous. It goes all the way down. Okay, so that hinge is all the way down. There's no gaps. Whereas with the Ridgid, you do have a short distance there. But I think you can clearly see the difference. And in my opinion, the Ridgid has a bigger diameter hinge pin and just a more stout construction. Now let's look at the hinge construction from the outside. This is the Ridgid. Now this is that area that is non-continuous, but it has a feature that keeps the lid. So when you pull it open, at this point here keeps the lid from going all the way back. Now we'll go to the Craftsman. And as I stated, it's continuous the whole length. But in my opinion, the Ridgid is much better constructed when it comes to the hinge area. Now I've put the Craftsman toolbox on top of the Ridgid just to get an idea of the difference. Obviously, the one is longer than the other. I'm going to show you something interesting here that I noticed, and I'm just going to push in on the width of these, and we'll just see which one looks sturdier. Okay, we're going to do the Craftsman box for, the Ridgid toolbox first. Going to hold on the back side and just push in, and I'm pushing. Okay. Now let's do the Craftsman. So the Craftsman I might have to hold back here because it's got this thing in the way. And I'll just hold and push in. So you can make your own determination from that. Alright, so the Craftsman toolbox is $4 cheaper than the Ridgid, and yes, the Craftsman is longer, so it will hold longer tools if you need that, but I think I've shown that the Ridgid is much sturdier and a better constructed toolbox than the Craftsman. Another thing I want to point out about this Craftsman toolbox is the warranty. Okay? If product fails to perform due to defects in material and workmanship, we will replace it. Proof of purchase is required. Warranty is not transferable. See craftsman.com. So, one of the reasons why I do not buy Craftsman anymore, and believe me, I'm not a Craftsman hater. I have lots of Craftsmans that I've bought, tools from the late 70s, 80s, and into the 90s. You know, all USA made. But when they came back out here, re-emerged with Lowe's, or being sold in Lowe's and bought out, when they were bought out, I just, my opinion, they went to crap. And I just, to have a toolbox that you have to have a receipt that says Craftsman on it, and you need a receipt, and I've done a review on my channel with some other tools like that. I just think that's really poor, and I just cannot, I just can't go with the program on that. So I personally, like I said, just won't buy Craftsman anymore. And as I said earlier, this box will be returned. I just thought it was interesting to show the difference of the two boxes. And in my humble opinion, the Ridgid wins hands down.